Okay, today we've got a Mr. Coffee maker. It was came to me through Buy Nothing. It was dropped off. Apparently there's a group of medical residents that go through coffee makers, and they dropped off one of their recent dead ones. This is model BVMC SC12B L2-1, and it's a 900 watt coffee maker, and we'll get to test that here in just a minute. So insides are present, the filter basket is here, but since that's not the problem, we won't need that and until later. Let's just turn it on and take a look to see what symptoms it presents. So they said it was dead. We're going to turn it on. We're going to see how many watts it uses when you turn it on. So this should use 900 watts. I'm going to, the only control this has is an on-off switch. I'm going to turn it on. I turned it on. The LED lit up, so it had enough electricity to do that. That tells me that electricity is getting from the cord into the coffee maker, but the element didn't come on because, according to my kilowatt here, it's not using any watts at all, or no watts that I can measure. It's probably a little piece of a watt to turn that LED on. So I'm going to open it up and have a look, and that's going to be a security screw. Basically, it's like a fork, something like this is probably it, and will probably fit in that hole. Okay. So we will just so it looks like there's little tabs around the side and the bottom that open this guy up, and there's a little bit of water coming out of it when I turned it over. All right, so this thermal fuse appears to be intact, and this thermal fuse is not intact. We're going to replace the one bad fuse, and then we're going to make a pot of water and see if it blows up the second fuse in the process. There we go. So we need a 216 degree fuse. So we've replaced the fuse. And we're gonna put this bracket back on. Put this and we'll go get some water and we'll fire this up and see what happens. We're back. This is full of water. I've replaced the thermal fuse. It should draw about 900 watts. It's already pulling. Okay, I turned it on and it's pulling. Rated for 900 watts. It's only using about 800, which is fine. And we can hear it starting to come on. So we'll let that come on for a while until the power shuts off by itself. And that'll tell us that either the fuse blew or the thermostat's doing its job. So we won't know which of those for sure until it cools off and it either goes back on by itself or we turn it off and turn it back on and it goes back on. So we'll see if we solve the symptom or the problem after this pot of water goes through. We'll be back. All right, so the coffee maker has turned itself off, either that or burned the fuse out. And we won't know for sure which that is until it gets a chance to cool off and see whether the hot plate comes on again. So to facilitate that process, I'm going to remove this jug of real hot water, and we're done with this. We'll see whether the pot cycles on again or whether it has blown a fuse. So. As the plate is exposed to the air, it should cool down. And when it cools down, the thermostat should turn the switch back on. There you go. So power has come back on. And that tells us that the thermostat is working as it should. And it turned back off because it's heated up now. So we're going to let it cycle one more time. And if it does that, then we'll say that the the fuse blowing was because the fuse wore out. There we go. All right. So the thermal switch has to cool off probably 20 degrees before it comes back on. It just did that, came back on for a second, went back off. But what we see here is that that switch is operating as it's supposed to. It appears the replacing of the thermal fuse solved the problem. I'm going to return this to the medical residents and let them make some more coffee in it and burn it out again. We're all done here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.